Well, inflationary pressures are easing as the labor market remains resilient, yet a majority of Americans still aren't happy with President Biden. Joining us now is Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman. Rick, how much of this has to do with messaging coming from the White House?
I think it's actually about the real underlying economic problem, which is inflation. We got a new poll this week showing that Biden's approval rating is all the way down to 36%. That's kind of unbelievable, given that we have an unemployment rate of 3.4%, which is the lowest since 1969. Bank of America put out an interesting research note this week showing that the last president to have a lower approval rating than that, with unemployment below 4%, was Harry Truman, all the way back in the early 1950s. And that was in the middle of an unpopular war, the Korean War, McCarthyism, and other things that were going wrong back then. So Biden just has a major problem with voters. Inflation is now going in the right direction. We got news this week. It was down to 4.9%. That's down from the peak of 9% last June. But man, voters are just in a foul mood. And I did a little digging into this week. And, you know, if you look at inflation over the last 2 years, it shows you that consumers are absorbing around 14% overall price hikes during a 2-year period. That is more than wages have been going up. So I think we have to remember that even when you see that annualized rate of inflation coming down, those are price hikes on top of other price hikes. And this is all cumulative. So this tells me that consumers are just feeling worn out by inflation.
Rick, what does it tell you about 2024? Because we know the economy, obviously a very critical issue for voters. How does Biden stack up to what we heard about Trump and his handling of the economy?
Well, of course, you know, most voters don't want a Biden-Trump rematch. I keep reminding myself this is 18 months away. Trump, for his part, he's probably going to have a morass of legal problems over the next 18 months. And it is possible that one or both of these guys actually does not end up being the nominee for whatever reason. But Biden should be in a pretty good spot for re-election. There have been some early 2024 election modeling, and that shows that with the labor market as strong as it is right now, and consumer spending as strong as it is, and people's finances are in pretty good shape despite inflation, that ought to really be a tailwind for the incumbent president, whether it's Republican or Democrat. So based on that alone, Biden would seem to be in good shape. But it's just his approval ratings are frankly terrible, given what's mostly good about the economy. And it seems like they're actually going down, not up. So inflation is just a huge wild card. I mean, this is one more reminder of how pernicious inflation really could be. We forgot this lesson, because we didn't have any real inflation from the 1980s all the way up until about 2021. But it's a mess, and it's a big problem for President Biden.
You say 18 months until the election?
Sorry. I mean, it's great for me. I love talking about it and looking at all the different angles. But I'm afraid we are going to be talking about it that long. And then even worse, Akiko, we're just going to start talking about the next election right after that. We never stop having elections in the United States.
I mean, 18 months is a very long time, to your point. It's a very long time in politics. A lot could change, as you've learned over the years. Rick Newman, as always, thanks so much for that.
A lot of people hope it does change. See ya.